Jackie. Perfect. Okay, great. Thank you, Michi. All
Mhm.
right, guys. Well, like I said, welcome to our Monday Motivation Zoom. My name is Natalie Rouse. I'm a lifetime double diamond with It Works Global. I've been in the business 7 years, and I recently got to go to the top 10, or not top 10, top 20. I don't even know. Regional retreat. There was only about 12 of us that actually ended up there, but regional retreat in San Diego. I'm actually a local to San Diego. And so when the contest came out, I was like, there's no way I can't go. So I ended up going, and Jackie is one of the amazing women. I met so many amazing women. Some of them are on here at the retreat. I see you, Chelsea. I don't know if anybody else is on here. Hey, we got to get you on here too. But yeah, so I was just hearing so many amazing testimonies, and I reached out to Jackie, asked her to come on and just share with us her It Works story. I know as far as our team, like you guys hear my story all the time. You hear Meech's story, and there's so many other amazing women like Jackie and like Chelsea and like so many others that are doing amazing things in this business, and they may have a story that resonates to you and your story. And so without further ado, I'm going to pass it over to Jackie. Jackie, if you could just share with us, your It Work story. Essentially, sorry, my dog's really excited now that I'm excited. If you want to just share with us how you heard about It Works, kind of how this business has changed your life, what your life was like before, and some of the success that you've seen thus far.
Okay, awesome. Thank you so much for introducing. I'm so excited to be online with you guys. My name obviously is Jackie Jo Walton. I live in Colorado, and I knew about the business because one of my friends from elementary school had been doing it for a very long time. Her name is Lachelle. You guys might know her. And she had approached me numerous times. I said no for 5 years. And finally, I was kind of at my wits' end. And what had happened was my husband and I both were working as much as we possibly could. We've got 6 kids. They're all expensive. You guys that are moms know that. And we were to the point where I was like calling our bank, seeing how late we could be on our mortgage before we'd lose our house. And I just was like, I had no idea what I was going to do, but I knew that I had to do something. I had to change something. And so I reached out to Lachelle and I said, I have no idea what I'm doing, but I'm ready to start. And so I still hem hawed for a couple days. And finally, I was like, send me your link again. I just have to pull the trigger and I have to do it. I did not discuss this with my husband at all. I did it while he was gone. I signed up. And then when he came home, I was like, hey, by the way, I just started a company. And he was so great. He's like, if anyone can do it, I know it's you. And it's so weird because it's like when we go to school, we're programmed at such a young age to believe that we need to go to college or go to a trade school, get an education, and then find a job that will provide stability and retirement and stuff like that. But we're never taught that we can create that opportunity for ourselves. So that's one of the reasons why I think this is so scary for so many people, because it's something that's so different than what society has prepackaged and shipped to all of us as children and going through school. So yes, it is very scary. I know I still get scared. I've been doing this for over a year. I know that it's super duper scary, and it's scary because it's different. But the best thing about it is that only like 10% of people have the confidence or the boost for like 10 seconds to actually click the register button. And so those 10% of people that did it, like, you already took the first step, you already did the scariest thing, and now you just keep taking those steps every single day. So I've been doing this for a little bit over a year. My lifetime rank is diamond. My husband was super skeptical at first, just like I was too, honestly. And now he's super supportive. So I know what it's like to start off like rags to riches. Obviously, I don't live in a huge mansion right now, and I wouldn't even if I was a millionaire. I'll tell you guys about what our house is like because this is what's so unique about this opportunity. We live out in the country. The town that we live in is called Hayden, Colorado. So if you guys Google that town, you'll get a really good insight that anybody can do this. We did not have internet until about 2 months ago. I would go to the library to use their internet. I would use data on my phone. I would utilize all of these tools and things that were free and just not make excuses. So excuses are just fancy bull crap. Like if you make an excuse, you're just stopping yourself. You're not hurting your neighbor, you're hurting yourself. So you guys can do this without internet. You can do it in a tiny little town. We live in a house way out in the country. It's an old log cabin. We have to haul our water. Like there is literally nothing that can stop you from being successful except yourself in this business. So I'm so thankful that I was given the opportunity, and I was like so ignorant. I just would text my upline and say, what do I do today? And she would send me a post. I would copy and paste it. And she was teaching me how to hap, and I didn't even know it. And I would start getting all of the orders and all of that kind of stuff. So I will tell you, in the year that I've been in the business, the experience I have had has been the whole roller coaster effect, which if you've been in the business for a little while, you know exactly what I'm talking about. There are busy seasons. They're like, just like growing, right? We're always talking about planting seeds. So you can't plant a seed and then go out the next day and expect to eat the fruit off of it. You have to nurture it. You have to make sure the soil is right. You have to make sure you're watering it, all of these things. So I've been through the ups and downs. And the one thing that I know that I can attest to is just the consistency is the one thing that makes all the difference. There's times that I get frustrated or I'm like, oh my gosh, I cannot do this. I'm just a little nobody. I'm not worthy. And then I have to get out of my own head and allow myself to do it because I will freak myself out more than anyone else. And that's why personal development is one of my huge, huge, huge things. Like every single day, I have to do at least an hour of personal development because I have a tendency, I left an abusive relationship and I drag a lot of those things with me. And a lot of you people that have been through any situations like that, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Like if you stop yourself, then they won't, right? So it's so important just to be in the elevated mindset that you are successful, you do deserve this, you attract money, you're helping people, you can help yourself, all of those things. Because if society is telling you otherwise, we just have to shift the parts of society that we're allowing into our own space. So personal development's big for us at this house. We're religious, so I do a lot of spiritual stuff in our house. I have a dream board. I'll show you guys right here's my dream board, and it's like right next to my desk. I have to stay super organized. I do lists and all of that kind of stuff, and then just staying plugged in because it's really easy to be too busy. It's really easy as a parent or a friend or whatever, like, oh my gosh, I don't want to log on at night, but it's like all you're doing is hurting yourself. Plugging in 2 or 3 nights a week builds you up more than you guys ever know. Like you get to connect with all these other people that have similar experiences or have great ideas. And these are things that you need to hear. Do yourself a favor and pick at least 2 nights a week and just plug in and be around those people. So that's kind of the gist of how I work pretty much since I've started and where I started and where I'm at now. I will say I started in July of last year, and by December, I got a private invitation to attend the conference and to speak just because our situation is kind of rustic and a little bit different, and it provides some difficulty to be able to talk about to people. So my husband and I flew down to Florida. We went to conference. I got a bunch of awards. I just feel like every single time I set a goal, I achieve it because I decide that's what I'm going to do. And that's just how it happens. So luckily, I'm the main breadwinner for our house now. I used to be a teacher with a degree. Now I make way more working a few hours a day from my phone. And I get to do something that I really love, which I, of course, I loved helping kids, but I did not love working 20 hours a day and still not being able to pay bills. So I would love to be able to answer questions. If you guys have questions, you can put them in the chat, or if another person wants to speak up and ask questions, I'm more than happy to talk and answer whatever you would like.
Well, thank you so much for that. And I think, Jackie, the main thing about your story is that it is so different, and a lot of people aren't in that situation where it's like you literally don't even have internet, like that's huge. That's a huge eye opener, I think, for so many of us that have access to Wi-Fi and have easy access to water and you know what I mean? All the things. You literally are no excuses. And that's what makes your story so amazing. And then the fact that you haven't been in the business that long, right? And that you just were like teachable, whatever Lachelle told you to post, you just posted it. And I think some of those things are, the heart of what makes people successful in this business. And then just like you said, you decided that you're going to do it and you just do it. One of the things too that I noticed is that I think you're very organized, right? You're kind of like, you have all your ducks in a row. Can you explain to us a little bit about how you do that? Because I'm sure between juggling being a mom and a wife and, living out in is it called the rural area, right? A rural area. I always get my geography mixed up. I didn't do well in geography in school, but yeah, in a rural area, like how do you manage to still stay organized? And what would you say is that important as far as, the success of your business?
So I would definitely say for my own success, I have to stay organized and on task because I'm pretty sure that I have ADHD and I'm super distractible. So if there's a mess somewhere, I'm going to stop what I'm doing and go clean it up. So I have all of these things from when I start my day that I have to do before I can truly work. And when I work, I really want to commit to it. I don't want to dabble because that's where things fall through the cracks for me personally. So I wake up at 5:30 every day before my kids get up, and that's when I do a Bible study just so that I can make sure I'm starting off on the right foot. If you're not religious, that's totally fine. Do a personal podcast or something that's just positive that's going to do self-development for 10 minutes. Every single morning I plug in and I do that. Then I get all of our kids up, do all of their hair, get them on the bus, all this kind of stuff. We do have a son that is on the spectrum, so I do a lot of lists for him. And that's where I learned that I function better off of lists as well. So I will make a list for myself as well and check things off as I do them. There's just something powerful about pen and paper and lists that really works well with my brain type. So I like to do that a lot. I have a little checklist in my binder that talks about personal development, Bible study, interacting with 30 people, friend requesting 30 people, messaging 30 people, doing haps, getting 10 haps up, all of that kind of stuff. So I have those lists. I've also added to do 3 reels a day. So I'll make 3 reels a day. And I break all of those tasks up because if I got on my phone and messaged 90 people in an hour, I would get blocked. So I always break up. I'll do a chunk of messages or follow-ups and then do interactions and then another chunk of messages and then do reels and stuff like that. So I have a list that I follow religiously for all of my stuff. And whenever I find myself just scrolling and getting distracted, I just remind myself, like, when this task is done, then I can go back and look at whatever was catching my eye because maybe it's inspirational and I want to recreate it. Or if I'm just wasting time, like I swear to you guys, like I will waste my entire day scrolling on my phone for nothing if I do not keep myself on track. So I'm like my own mom, like telling myself that I need to get it together and stay on track. But that's one thing that really helps me. One thing that I do is whenever I get a bunch of haps up, I'll go back in there even a week later. And all of the people that have liked and commented, I make absolute sure that I have sent a friend request and I've messaged them. If I haven't, obviously I add them to my list and I make a note of who posted the hap for me so that I can see if that person would be just a total bomb on my team. Like if I'm enrolling 15 customers from this one person, it is my duty to explain how successful they would be. So I always keep track of where people are coming from. And then it also helps with the awkward people that message you 4 months later that say, I have no idea what you're talking about. And you can say, oh, well, we have this mutual friend, stuff like that, so that I don't seem like a total stalker and creeper. So I just keep lists everywhere, super detailed. I also write down what they're interested in so that I can make sure, like, if I'm doing a post about gummies that day, I'm going to go and I'm going to interact with 30 to 50 people that have been interested in my gummies. And then half an hour later, I'll put that post up so that they see that in the algorithm. So that's one thing that works really well for me. When I go back on those other HAP posts and I check them, I go in and I message every single person again and I say, hey, I'm doing a giveaway. Would you like a free entry? And I ask them to HAP. So they came in at first as a potential customer. Now I'm doing a follow-up and I'm switching it to ask them to HAP for me. Then I'm going to have them HAP for me and I'm going to offer the information again in a different way. I'm going to say, thank you so much for posting for me. Would you like information on this product or the opportunity? And I try to follow up in like 3 or 4 different ways. Sometimes they get annoyed and block me. I don't really care, but I always kind of switch the script a little bit and tweak it just so that they know, like, I know that they know I'm offering the same product information, but I'm saying it differently each time because everybody's different and it might resonate differently with them. So I'm nonstop following up. I'm nonstop interacting, and I don't stop messaging them until they block me. Even if they've said, I'm not interested in your product, I still go back that next month and I say, hey, will you throw up a hat for me? And if they ignore it, I still go back the next month and I say, hey, I'm doing another giveaway. Do you want in on this one? Like, I do not stop. I am relentless. I am sure that I'm annoying, but when you like, do the commercials on TV care if you've seen them 9,000 times? No, they don't care. So why do I? I don't care. I mean, Facebook, I've totally adjusted. Obviously, if you go to my Facebook page, you guys are going to see a lot of my life because I love sharing about my kids and everything, but that's my business. So I make sure I'm posting something as soon as I wake up in the morning. I'm always posting on my stories. I'm always posting about giveaways and products, but I make sure that that's like 1/3 of all of my other content because people are going to buy from me because I'm me. They're not going to buy from me because I'm posting before and afters 87,000 times a day. They're going to buy from me because I built a relationship with them and they trust me. So I want to share as much about my real life as I possibly can so that they can relate to me and so that I can help them. So it's all social selling and relationships, and that's really important. And like I said before, like we live out here in the boonies. My kids like are savages. They run wild out here, and I still make relationships online. Like, it's just such a great opportunity. It's so exciting. All the constant changes for different hashtags to use and different algorithms and all of that kind of stuff. I know I'm like preaching about not getting blocked. You guys, I got blocked on Messenger today. So that's when I took it as my cue that I'm going to just slow down a little bit and I'm going to shift gears and do something different. So don't ever get stuck on thinking, well, this just isn't going to work for me because that one thing isn't working. That just means it's time to try something a little bit new. So whether you're going onto Instagram or whether you're going to those people's stories and reacting through their stories or something like that, there's always another door that's open. You just might have to knock on a couple of that are locked. So that's how I stay organized. Obviously, I totally got distracted talking about all these other things. I told you guys I get distracted super easily. Hopefully, some of it was relevant to you and helpful. So that is how I stay on track and consistent with all of my business stuff.
No, I love it. And it was so good, Jackie, because it's so true. One of the things as you were talking, I just thought about the importance of like asking and not being scared to follow up with people, you know? Because to me, I feel like if I'm messaging someone and they're not giving me a response, essentially like I look at it like I'm helping them learn how to communicate because no response is no response. I don't know what that means. Like you have to tell me, no, I'm not interested. Please stop messaging me. And they'll be like, oh, okay, I got it. You know what I mean? Like, but unless you tell me that, you have to be clear. So, and the reason is I've even had people tell me they don't want an entry into the giveaway. And then I'm like, oh, okay. And then Heather more recently, and she's just amazing. She was sharing like she still will be like, oh, do you want an entry next month? Or do you want me to follow up with you in like a month for the next one, whenever we do it? And they say yes. And so it's like it might have just been no right now because you never know if someone's going through life. They just went through a loss. I mean, I've had people be like, this just isn't a good time, and that's life. But it's not no forever. It's just no right now. So I love that you follow up as much as you do. And I remember somebody saying, I think it was like Pam Stouter. I can't remember who came up with it. Maybe you remember, Meech. It was a long time ago, but they were saying, make an ask out of yourself. Make an ask out of yourself. And it's like at the end of the day, we can make all the posts, we can do all the things, but the majority of the enrollments are going to come from asking, just straight up asking. And what's the worst that people can say is no, right? But there's so many different ways to ask. You can ask people that comment on your post. You can ask people that watch your stories. You can ask people from the host of posts. Like there's from your reels, from your TikToks, all the different ways. It's just mainly taking the courage and just asking. So I love that. Oh yeah, and stop shooting all over yourself. Exactly. So no, that was so good because follow up is extremely important. And I recently just got more organized with my follow up and wrote down all the names because I started realizing people are falling between the cracks, and it's our job to follow up with them and remind them of the goals that they have. So thank you for sharing that. Last thing I would love for you to share is I love that you also talked about like how you share your life. And I've been following you and I love it because your life is so different than mine. And so it's like so cool to see your life. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think that's the beautiful part about social media, as you can see somebody. I have a friend right now who like just went to Ibiza. You know what I mean? Like just different ways of that people are living their lives. And she's like traveling around and she's going to be amazing at this business one day, but I'm still working on her. But I say that to say that, following you and your story, and I think you do such a good job of sharing your niche. And that's something that I know I'm working on. And we've talked about amongst our team, like the 5 pillars, and really staying true to that is like staying true to your niche, because that's going to attract the people that get you, that understand you, and that connect with you and your story. And just feel like they know you. They're getting to know you, not just the products in the business. So can you share a little bit about that and how you're able to do that from social media and the importance of it?
Yeah, I'm glad that you asked that because that's one of the things that I actually really struggled with for a really long time. I found that I was following other influencers that had like, oh my gosh, so many followers, right? So I'm following these ladies and I'm like, oh my gosh, I need to do that to be successful. And it was so not me. And I'm like, but I'm not getting any views. Like they do these things and they get all these views, but I do it and I don't get any views. And I just was like, what is going on? And I'm serious, you guys. It was like months, like 8 months that I was duplicating what these people in a different realm were doing. And finally, I was just like, you know what? Like, I am going to talk about hauling water. I'm going to talk about my kids' chickens and ducks and geese. I'm going to talk about me losing my ever loving mind as a mom because my kids like will not even let me pee in peace. So I really, really, really harnessed that. And every time I saw something that I liked that other people would do, I would save it. And then I would be like, okay, so she's knocking on the door, right? I know you guys have seen that reel, right? Where there's a door here. She's knocking on the door and then the door shifts to the other side and she's like gorgeous, right? So I'm like, okay, so I'm knocking, or my kids are knocking on the bathroom door and you shift to the other side and I'm sitting on the toilet trying to pee. Like that's how my version of that is, because that's my life. So I always now try to stay super true to our roots and what we're doing. And it's a very fine line because we are a very rustic family. We go hunting, we skin rattlesnakes, like all of these things that are very controversial in the United States right now. And so I catch a lot of flack, a lot of heat. There's a video of one of my girls that has over 2 million views right now. It went viral of her walking through Walmart in a shirt that she wore to butcher chickens. And I'm telling you guys, I thought that one was going to shut my Facebook down. I was like, this might be a little too real right now. So I do have to make sure that I'm not getting like super gruesome and totally graphic, but I still want to be honest about what we do. And as when I started doing this, all of a sudden I started finding all of these other influencers that were more of the route that we go, you know? So when I started opening those doors, I started getting more and more answers. So I just try to incorporate our everyday life, which is really easy out here where we live because it's stinking gorgeous. Like we have the most amazing sunrises and sunsets. So my coffee pictures on in the morning are on point every single day. And my kids can stand like right outside our door and get the most incredible like back to school pictures. So it's so easy to have such a great template to do all of this out here where we live. I take tons of pictures, like hundreds, and then I use like 2 or 3 of them. So I'm kind of like my own paparazzi. I'm always filming. I'm always taking pictures. My husband's so good about it because he's like, here, I'll take your pictures for you. And he's learning. And then my oldest daughter is fair royalty right now. And she has learned a lot about different poses and all this stuff. So she's helping me and I'm helping her. So it's really like my whole family really enjoys it, but they enjoy it because I'm videoing them building Legos. I'm videoing them catching pigs, like doing the things that they really love and incorporating those. So I just know, like at the end of the day, as long as I am being honest about who we are and I feel good about it, that's all that I can do. I can't completely duplicate and mimic other people because if I did that, like who's going to be my customers? Nobody, because that's not who I am. There's a whole world of customers just for me, and I can't find them when I'm not trying to be myself. So I just am always trying to remember who I am and not be ashamed of it and not be scared of it and all that kind of stuff. And then one thing that I do always try to do is I just try to be respectful and polite to people, no matter how rude they are to me. There's people that tell me or message me, like one of the comments in here was like, this is a terrible way to do business. And I'm like, thank you. I hope you have a wonderful day. Like, I don't ever like reflect their negativity because that says more about my character than it does theirs. So I never, ever, ever do anything like that. And I will turn around the next week and I will message them again. And some of them will post for me. So that's just what I do. I'm just kind. I'm just respectful. I'm pretty funny, but I don't share too much funny stuff on Facebook. But if you get to see me in person, I'll probably make you laugh.
I love it. I love it. And I love that. Just be kind, you know, just be kind. And when people do get ugly, it's like when you're kind like that, like even with the anti-MLM, it's just like they're just ignorant, you know, anti-MLM or whatever. They really don't know what they're talking about. And you know, don't cast your pearls to swine or however you want to say it. Like just don't waste your time there, you know, because people are going to believe what they want to believe. And just like you said, being authentically you, you're going to find your people. You know, you're going to find your people. And if you don't do that, then you don't really like, you're going to kind of ruffle some feathers anytime you become exactly who you are. You know, we're reading The Bold Life right now. And I'm honestly realizing like the bolder that I get, some people are on board with it. And some people are like, You know what I mean? But it's like, but this is who I am, this is who I am. I am bold, I am loud, I am all of these things. And if I'm annoying to somebody or too much for the next person, like those just aren't your people. You know what I mean? And finding that, like, it's not that there's something wrong with me, it's just that they're not my people, and really owning that. And I love, there's a saying, when you decide to be who you really are, you like give other people the permission to do the same, and I feel like a lot of times, even for me, if I see somebody being authentically them, like I've been watching your journey and I'm like, oh, this is cool. Like, it's just fascinating to me. And I love it because you're owning who you are, and that inspires everyone else around you, even if they have a different lifestyle, that they can too, that they can own who they are and still run this business. And that's a beautiful part about this business too, is because we don't want a bunch of robots. We know there's a lot of different people that do this business. And that was even a big purpose of having you come on, is because there's so many different people doing this business with all different backgrounds, all different situations, all different lifestyles, and yet they're successful. And that's the beautiful part about this business, is we get paid to be ourselves. Like, you get paid to be yourself, like, and spend time with your family and involve them. And I love that you involve your family. I think that so often people use that as an excuse to not do the business. But the truth is, we can invite our family and the people that are important to us into the business, so I love that you do that. Okay, does anybody have any questions or anything else that they want to ask while we have Jacci on here today? Anything that is ringing for you guys? You can put it in the chat. In the meantime, Jacci, is there any tip you would tell somebody? Let's say somebody's in a funk, or someone's just not feeling it. They're struggling in their business right now. That we've all, like you said, this thing is a journey and you go through, because life happens, and I don't know if you want to share a little bit about, I know that there was a situation that you shared about with the transplant. I don't know if you want to share about that at all. Or
Yeah,
if
I'll
you
talk
shared
about
too.
that. Okay.
Yeah.
When I went to California and I actually met Natalie and all these other ladies, like, this was such a crazy experience. I have been working on becoming a living organ donor for about a year. And like, my whole family has been super supportive. I saw a post online. It was a GoFundMe for a child that needed a kidney. And I was like, well, I don't have a ton of money, but I do have another kidney. So I started the process and went through all of these medical appointments and all this stuff for a full year. And my kids have learned alongside with me. Some of my kids came home from school one time and they asked, oh, my friend wanted to know, like, how much are you getting paid to donate your kidney? And I was like, okay, well, you actually can't get paid to donate an organ. So that was one thing that I learned, that I taught my kids to also teach their school. Like, that's actually organ trafficking and it's highly illegal. You cannot get paid to donate organs. But I was at the point in the process, the very last step was to go out to the transplant center and get all of my final tests done. And the transplant center was in San Bernardino. And I got everything all sorted out and all the appointments made. And then I got an email from corporate that I was one of the top 20 in the central region. So they wanted to send me to Milwaukee the same weekend. And I was like, shoot, how can I make this work? Like, maybe I can go to San Bernardino and then fly from San Bernardino over to Milwaukee. And then from Milwaukee, I'll be able to fly home again. Mind you, my husband is alone handling everything here by himself that entire week, right? So I'm like, good luck. Like, I know you can do it. I'm kind of glad that I'm not picking up the slack right now. But the corporate office was willing to let me go to the San Diego event instead, since Colorado had just shifted to the Western region as well. So I was lucky. They let me, I can just drive from San Bernardino down to San Diego. So I did this whole thing. When I got home, I got a call that said everything matched up perfectly medically, but I live too far away and have too big of a responsibility responsibility taking care of my kids to become a donor. And I got that call like half an hour before I was supposed to get on another Zoom with Natalie and some other people. And I was so mad and I was so livid. And I sat on it for like a week and I was like, you know what? This is what I'm going to do. Like, this is the situation that has been presented to me. And I was documenting all of this on social media. So all of my friends and family, all of the news, local news reporters, all of these people have seen everything. And I was like, for some reason this happened. This has happened for a reason. And it just started slowly coming to me. I'm like, there has to be an avenue for people like me that are living donors, not recipients, to go through. And so I told my husband, like, I rolled over in bed at night and I'm like, I'm going to start a nonprofit organization specifically for living donors so that they don't have to worry about the expenses with travel and all this stuff. So it was like the silver lining of the situation. Like, I've been going through this step by step by step for over a year to be told no. And I knew that that can't be what it is. It can't be that I went through all of this for a year, but I went through all of this for a year to be able to open the door for other people to not ever be told no because they don't have the money or because their family's too large or anything like that. So I was going through that process when I met Natalie, and it was so emotional and I like, it was so exciting and all this other stuff. But it's like every single process that you're put through, you can choose to let it poison the soil around you, or you can choose to grow through it. So that was like my biggest thing recently that I've gone through that was just completely devastating and heartbreaking. And I just stepped back and took the time with all of that to really find a way to grow out of it. And I'm super excited because it is going to be amazing to be able to start something to help other people and grow awareness and all of the stuff like that. But it's like every opportunity, like every time someone says no, that's not the end. There's a lesson in there. There's something in there. There's something you can do. There's purpose in that for you. So that was my big thing recently that has just been, I could be legit pissed right now that they said no, even though I'm O blood type. But I'm like, no, because I could have saved one life through this kidney, but instead I'm going to save thousands because I'm going to start this program to be able to help even more people donate. So don't ever let that no be a negative answer for you guys. You guys have to realize there's more. There, like, that's not the end of your path. That's not the end of the journey. That no was put there for a reason, and just keep going. A really good book that I read is called Go for the No. And it's talking about like ratios and percentages. 80% of people are going to say no. So if you have 7 people that said no in a row, great. You've got one more, and then you're finally going to get to that yes. So you just have to keep pushing, keep working, keep having faith. Don't work out of desperation, just work in faith. That's one thing, like for month end tips that somebody was asking about previously. When I get to my month end, I just hunker down and I work twice as much, but I work deliberately and intentionally. I don't work desperately. I don't like go on my profile and say, I'm begging you. I just, if you sign up right now, I will, like, I'll pay you $500 or something. I never do stuff like that. I just make sure that I claim what I'm going to do that day. When I wake up in the morning, I'm going to sign 3 LCs today, or I'm going to bring in 500 volume. And then I do the steps that I know to do that. And if I've already done all of those steps, then I start finding new steps to do, because there's never a legit no way that you can't do this. You can always find new things that work. And if there's things that worked great before, go back and restart those things. You can always restart your business every single morning when you wake up. Everybody has that option. So put in the work, do what you know works. If you want to be making like all these double, triple digits every single week, then you need to be putting in the effort for that. Your bank account is never going to bypass all of your personal development and all of your work ethic. So you definitely have to put in the work for those. But you'll surprise yourself if you put in a solid amount of work consistently. Your paychecks are just going to compound and just multiply to the point where it's hard to believe that you're making that much money from the work that you're doing. But you have to do the work. I know that our schedules are flexible, which is so amazing, but they're not optional. And that's where a lot of people get hung up, is they think it's optional. So do not make it optional. sit down, find a place to work, even if you have to go to a library or wherever you can actually focus, just do the work. That's my biggest thing. Be consistent, do the work, have faith, know that your work is important, you have purpose, and then you'll get paid for it. It's crazy that we get paid basically for personal development. Like we pour into ourselves and we pour into other people. That's what this business is. And then we get paid. So it's pretty amazing. I'm so thankful for it. My family is so thankful for it. It's been like total life changing for us. Yeah. Self-care with a paycheck. That's exactly what we do.
Yes, I love it. And can I just say you are truly inspiring. Thank you for sharing that part of your story. I was like, they need to hear that because I know when we were at the conference or retreat, I was like, oh my goodness, like that was amazing to me that you wanted to be an organ donor and that you've gone through this whole process. And then I was there when you shared with us that it wasn't going. So I was like, dang, like I know that that was one of those life things that happens, right? Those disappointments that we aren't expecting, but you're using that to your advantage as your why, of why you want to do this and why you want to have your own nonprofit. And when we do that, that's what this business teaches us, a lot of times is how to take the negative and turn it into a positive and how to be resourceful. I know for me, this business has made me so resourceful because like you said, if we get paid to solve problems. Like, what is the problem? What is the issue? What do we need to do differently? It's always like, there's always a solution. We just need to find it in our business. Is it my mindset? Is it my delivery? Do I need to work on my messaging? Do I need to work on my kindness? Do I need to work on my follow-up? Do I need to work on my organization? What do I need to work on to make this thing work? Because we know that the work is all the same. The work is the work. It's a matter of what are we not doing to see the success that we want to see. And because of that, we start to have this mindset of there's a solution, there's something, I just need to find it, And I think that your story is such a perfect example of that, of taking like, okay, this is a block, but I'm going to find a way around it. I'm going to find another way, and for you, that's that nonprofit. And so what a beautiful story. So you're so inspiring, Jacci. Thank you so, so much. I know, okay, let's see here. I love flexible, but not optional. Oh, that was so good. And then when you said work intentionally and deliberately, but not desperately, because I'll be honest, when I start working desperately at the end of the month, nobody wants desperate. Like it's unattractive. I also always say in this business, like we need to work this business with confidence, knowing what we have our hands on. Because if we go in there insecure, it's almost like dating. And I know I'm single, but like nobody wants somebody that's like, please, please. It's like, no, you know what I mean? But when you're like, you be lucky, you know what I mean? Not like stuck up, but like, your value, people value you. It's the same sort of idea with these products and with this business. Like when we know what we have our hands on, people want it because they see the value in it because we see the value in it, but when we work out of that desperation, it's like, oh, no, never mind. You know what I mean? So I love that you mentioned that. I love the way that you worded that. Okay. So real quick, and I know we've gone over. So there's a couple questions. One from Michelle. She said, I may have missed it, but since she was doing the dishes, multitasking, but you're here. Can you share your daily task list? Do you have one? I know we recently got one that we've been using, but I'm open to hearing. Do you have like a task list that you go off, that you print, or have you created one yourself?
I don't think I shared my daily task list in the group chat that I have with you yet, but I can do that. So I have a daily task list. Absolutely. And it's like for the week. So it has columns Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. I do not work on Sundays, even when it's a roll-a-thon or whatever else. Like I have to have a day off and I want to work on Sundays, but I don't. So I make myself have one day off because honestly, that's a great day for me to collect content when my family's at church and playing and all this other stuff, but I won't log online and work. So Monday through Saturday, yes, I definitely follow that list. And I'm on Lachelle's page in the Dream Team and I just searched task list and it popped up. And then I recently remade a different one for myself because I wanted one that had Bible study first and that also had reels and birthdays. So honestly, I can share the task list. I wish I had my binder next to me because I love having that to show you guys what I use, but it's in the living room. But I will share the task list with Natalie. And then if you're on my team, just let me know, just message me and I'll share you what I use. I don't like I have certain things I do certain days. So for instance, every single day I'm doing my Bible study and personal development and messaging and reels and interactions. And then I follow up on like Tuesdays and Thursdays. And I just keep track in my binder who I'm interacting with. I make my little check marks every time I do a message. Put a little dot when I interact with them. I always try to ask questions when I interact, but on Wednesdays is my birthday day. So a lot of you guys do birthday messages every day. I just sit down on Wednesday for half an hour and do birthdays that were 3 days before, 2 days before, 1 day before, today, tomorrow, the day after, etc. So I just knock out all my birthday messages on Wednesdays. I actually recorded a video of my daughters and I signing happy birthday in sign language and singing it. And I message that video and then I comment on their wall and I say something like, happy birthday. I hope your day is as great as you are. Something that's just like that I would be happy reading. So I do a message and a comment on that person's wall. And honestly, I get so excited when I do birthday messages because I see that I've never talked to that person before. And it is the perfect excuse to make them happy and to talk to them because I cannot run my business if I am not talking to people constantly. So that is what I do. I will share that task list, the specific one I'm using, to Natalie. And then if there's some other people that have a different leader or something like that, I'm super easy to find on Facebook. My name is just like it is on here. I think Jacci Joe Walton, Jacci. You guys can always message me on Facebook and then I can send you the document that I use. But I don't do it digitally. I do it paper and pencil just because I seriously am like so old school. And obviously I didn't have internet forever. And there is just something so profound about check marks on a piece of paper that just drives me. So I would be happy to do that. I saw one other comment about a teacher that is teaching and going back to school and trying to work. And in those scenarios, if you have a job that you have to actually be present at, I used to work in the little pockets of time when I was walking to the bathroom, when I was sitting in the bathroom, I would message, I would follow up. So even those teeny little tiny pockets of time, I would still fit the business in, or like wake up half an hour earlier than your family, or once you put them to bed, you log on for 20 minutes. And on your drive to your work, make sure that your car is a classroom. You're listening to personal development. You're listening to all of these inspirational books and podcasts and all of that kind of stuff. So if you are on a tight budget and you don't have Audible or anything like that, you guys, there's apps for libraries like Libby and stuff like that, where you can check out books for free. So do not waste a moment because there is so much power in manifesting and talking like to the universe. Like if you have a broke mindset, the universe is going to assume that you love being broke because that's all you think about. So just really shift your mindset, use things that are working towards your goals. Do not let anything or anyone get in your way or stop you or become an excuse or anything like that.
Yes, I love that. And I feel like it's almost easier, at least it was even easier for me to have that discipline when I was still like working 2 jobs and going to school and like really making sure being intentional with that time. Whereas like once you start working this full time and you have so much time, sometimes it's harder because you have to like make sure you're disciplining yourself and getting the tasks done. So yeah, absolutely. That the checklist help. I literally just started the checklist today. And let me tell you, and just about everything I think except for my reels, yeah, it's checked off. And it feels so good. I was like, you're right. It feels so good. And I know we have your host to post one. But yeah, I don't have your task list one. So I would love to see it. And I love that you do happy birthdays like that. I think using the video is such a smart idea, just to make it more personal. And that's finding a way to connect with people, finding a way to connect with people, because people buy from people they know, like, and trust. So when you're creating those relationships, that's what you're doing. So I love that. I know, right? Signing customers in the bathroom. Yep.
Yep.
Even for me, when I'm like at events and stuff like that, I'll like go in the bathroom real quick.
I was
So
like, yes, when I was at conference in January, I'm running to the bathroom to sign my last LC for the success bonus. And I was like, I can't, like, I'm doing everything. I'm doing all the things. I'm here at conference. I'm being interviewed. I'm signing customers. And I was like, all of the things. I'm doing everything. Like, it was so crazy. So, I mean, maybe don't sign customers while you're actively driving in your vehicle. That's not something I would recommend, but put it in park and sign that customer. Like, you guys, you're all worthy. You're all here. You're all showing up. The only thing that can stop you is your own mind. So don't even think negatively. Always stay above it. I mean, all of the people that are the naysayers on the side, you guys, there's people that I've known, even my own family members, that do not support my business. And there's strangers out there that are going to cheer for me louder than my own family members. Not all of them, obviously, but some of them. So it's like, who cares? Who cares? That's your new cousin right there. That girl in Indiana that you don't know that's cheering for you. That's your cousin now. So do not get discouraged about people. I mean, people get jealous. People are haters, whatever. Maybe they have a crush on your husband. Who knows? Just keep going. Who cares?
I love it. It's so true. And as you continue to climb, you got to be prepared for that, because not everybody is going to be supportive, but what else can we do? I just made a post that I was like, success isn't a sin, like success isn't a bad thing. But what would be a shame is not doing what God's called you to do, or taking advantage of an opportunity that can literally, like ours, change the trajectory of your entire family, give you more time with your family, create generational wealth for your family, help you start nonprofits, all of these things, and not taking advantage of it because of people's opinions, because we don't answer to people. Like, and if you are religious, I know even for me, I have a strong faith, and it's like, I answer to God. Anybody outside of that is not my God. Like, so they do not define what's right and what's wrong. If God's telling me to do this business, I'm going to do this business. You know what I mean? Because what we do is we literally get paid to help people, like you said, grow ourselves and help other people make an extra income, help other people get healthier. And it's a beautiful thing. It's just different. And some people are scared of it. But one day maybe it won't be, because all of us paved the way. Everybody every single one of you guys that is on is basically, I mean, you're a trailblazer, right? You're the trailblazers. I can't even say that word, but you're the trailblazers and doing something different. But people will follow in line, and you'll find your people. So thank you so much, Jacci, for sharing tonight. Thank you guys all for being on. I know we're coming up at 8:00, but we really, really appreciate your time. You are so inspiring and so sweet for coming on. And yes, if you can send me that document, that would be amazing, so we could share it with our team. I know we have your host to post one, and we've been using that, actually. I know some of the girls have been using that as well. But we would love your checklist. So thanks again, and we will see you guys next Monday. Hope you guys all have a great night. We'll see you guys later.